Some just Kickstarter is suffering as you observed there, Danny. I'm pretty happy that Palace 5 was in the five figures, or no, Palace 3 was in the five figures, and like that feels like it has some popularity, and I'm glad Diamond has accepted that one. So that was going to be, hey, Danny,
congratulations.
You're going to get to go hit up your local comic book stores as editor and set up signings for a comic.
That's actually really cool. I would love to connect with you and get some notes on how to do that effectively.
Sure. I mean, I've been calling, granted, America's Americans, Canada's Canada, but my local stores really seem to care. And by local, I mean, like, I'm calling the big ones. Like, there are these regional stores that have just managed to get like a chain of multiple stores, and have been there for decades, and they have a following. Some of them like have their own little cons, and you call these massive stores and you go, hey, I'm a comic creator, I'm in Diamond, I want to set up some signings. They're like, hold on, we'll get right to you. So
yeah, no, I'm totally behind that. And the way stuff works around here is like some shops really focus on like the big two. Some of them are more pop culture. Some of them do like indie stuff and just straight up books.
Right.
Like The Beguiling, where Scott Pilgrim was written. They are such an indie bookstore. Like, I was there the other day. We were looking through like, a glass case of old Mobius stuff. They had like a bunch of Japanese Anne of Green Gables, like right behind the front. Like, in the other case, they still have Sandman bookends.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those. They were worth a lot way back in the 90s. And that's just sort of a bookstore for, arts and comics nerds, but they have trade paperbacks, not so much the new releases. So like, it's really like, what is each store good at? And when you get into the burbs, it becomes more like, how big is the store? What can they get away with?
Yep.
But I do like that, like, it's hard, but figuring out which shops actually do certain sorts of books is like what I have to do, which is a different kind of hassle.
Yeah.
Especially once I get out of town, and then it's like, I don't know the shop. Do I have to call them and be like, hey, do you do indie books? Like, it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah. Wow. Well, anyway, so then we have some exciting news.
I'm so
with that.
I actually do want to do something with it. So yeah.
And let's see, we got we got the end of Palace 5, which will be in comic stores at some point. So we got that story tonight. We also have John. We got more Harpies, right?
Yeah, I posted it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I'm making sure. So
yeah,
we got Harpies, and we got Bridezilla SC1.
It's a 5-page opening scene.
All right.
For this project.
Sure.
So.
Why not? Let's 5 pages. What could possibly go wrong? Let's see. Okay, Bridezilla.
All right. Well, I'm going to need a narrator who's going to be John.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm going to need a Rick and a Jane. So let's have John be Rick and Preston can be Jane.
Sounds great. Share screen. All right, John.
Interior, secondhand shop. Jane, 17. Furtively enters a secondhand shop in the late afternoon, carrying a wedding dress over her shoulder in a clear bag. She looks around. Nobody else is shopping. The grungy clerk, Rick, works at the counter, tagging a batch of freshly laundered, newly arrived menswear hanging on a rolling clothes rack. She approaches him nervously.
Hi, mind if I leave this here?
Rick doesn't even look up. Huh?
I'm thinking of selling it, but I'm not sure yet.
Rick still doesn't look up. Sure, as long as it doesn't get mixed up with the new stock. Jane hangs up the wedding dress on the empty hat stand behind where Rick's working.
I'll just put it on this rack here.
Uh-huh. Jane continues into the store,
Oh,
starting with
man.
pants. She pulls out a pair of leather pants, holding them against her legs to see if they're worth trying on. They're too short. She turns to double check in the nearest mirror, but her instinct was right. Also, they look ridiculous underneath the oversized hand-me-down wool-size high school sweatshirt she's wearing. Jane shrugs her shoulders and replaces the pants on the rack, then keeps looking through the stock. Unsure of what her personal style ought to be, she picks out some distressed jeans, flares, baggy jeans, and some skirts of various lengths, dress pants, capris, some cargos, eventually heading towards Jane, interior secondhand shop, change room. Later, Jane tries on the new looks she's been shopping for. Everything from 80s pantsuits to punk. Between the clothes being awkward fits on account of being secondhand, and the looks just not working on a blank slate. None of these styles really feel like they're going to be right. Jane does like the look of the black wide leg cargos with some sleeveless red argyle sweater, but Jane feels there's still something wrong. The look is a bit too punk to be Sunday school prep. In that ornate cross she's wearing, It's that ornate cross she's wearing. She tucks it underneath the sweater and checks herself once more in the mirror. She likes it. Jane changes back to her street clothes, double checks the price on the tags, and smiles to herself.
I think I can do these.
Interior, secondhand shop. Moments later, Jane returns the clothes she doesn't want to roughly where she found them, then circles the store on her way back to the counter. Then she passes a rack of evening gowns. The first thing she sees is a bridesmaid's dress that stops her in her track.
In shock. You there, John?
Did we lose John?
I think we may have lost John.
I can narrate.
All right.
I'm back.
Wait. There we go. Okay.
Jane pushes the thought aside, then moves to check out some shoes, but nothing there that interests her in her size. She passes another mirror above a rack of accessories as she brings her clothes up to the counter, stops again, and picks out a pair of sunglasses, then tries them on. They don't work. Interior secondhand shop, counter. Jane finally comes to the counter to buy the clothes, but nobody's visible. She waits a moment, getting nervous again.
Hello.
Rick stands up from behind the counter, appearing in the menswear section. Found everything you were looking for. Jane startles when she hears Rick behind her. Hey, calm down. I'll be right there. Rick comes to the counter, inputs the prices from the tags into the till, then sets the card reader in front of her. That'll be $22.15. Rick continues as Jane pulls out her phone to pay. So, what did you want to do with the dress you brought in? Jane stops, looks at him, pushes through her nerves.
Yeah, I was thinking about selling it.
Rick walks over to the dress, takes it out of its protective bag, and inspects it. So, what is this? Your mother's?
Jane
responds with a more confidence now that the conversation isn't about her directly.
My aunt's, my late aunt. My mom says it was never worn and that I should hold on to it, but I don't think it's for me, you know?
Rick turns around, holding the dress up to imagine what Jane would look like in it, something extruding confidence and radiance. He realizes she's quite beautiful.
I have never even met her, and something about the dress feels haunted.
I don't know about that. I think it'd suit you. Well, we'd take it, but if I had to say in the matter, I think you should keep it for now.
Wait, what?
While Rick's still holding up the dress, Jane looks up at him, imagining what he'd look like standing next to her as she wears it. Solid, dependable, protective. She smiles at him. Rick puts the dress back down in the bag, breaking the illusion. Name's Rick. I go to Woodside too.
I'm Jane.
Jane realizes Rick's referring to her sweater.
It's just a hand-me-down from my dad. I don't go there. I'm homeschooled.
Makes sense. I would have remembered seeing someone as charming as you. I'm off tomorrow night. Let's go to the fair. Jane checks her phone.
Tomorrow, my mom wants me to go to this youth group meeting. How about Saturday?
Saturday sounds... Yeah, I can probably get away in the daytime when my Uncle Pa's asleep. Jane looks excited momentarily, then swallows her nerves to clear the air.
This is a date, right? You just asked me out on a date.
Rick realizes Jane's taking this quite seriously. He laughs nervously, then decides to commit. Yeah, I did. They smile at each other, infatuated. Jane reaches across the counter to hold Rick's hand and looks at him in the eyes. He grins, so does she.
There's just one thing.
Rick thinks a shoe's about to drop. He's made a horrible mistake.
I won't be doing sex stuff before marriage, all right? This is going to just be a normal date where we do normal things, okay?
It takes a second for Rick to realize this was a big fuss over nothing. He laughs, then hops over the counter, takes Jane's hand in his, and gets down on one knee. That's all you're worried about? You've already got the dress, and I'm sure I could find you a nice ring on short notice. Rick gestures to the jewelry in the glass case that's part of the counter. Jane remains serious.
I'm not joking. My parents would kill me, maybe both of us.
Rick looks serious. Neither am I. Maybe we should talk about it more after our first date. Rick stands up. Jane smiles. He smiles back. She draws him in and kisses him rather quickly on the cheek. She stays close to him just long enough for it to get awkward, turning away to grab her things just as she's about to lean in and kiss her on the mouth.
Good idea. See you Saturday.
Jane leaves, beaming like it's the first day of the rest of her life.
Aww. So, amazingly trad, I must say. Sure. I mean, boy meets girl. That's. I mean, it's a story we've heard plenty of times, but it never gets old because individuals are people, and there's always the specific interplay between two people from differing backgrounds, and how they try and overcome the obstacles that keep them from being honest and intimate with each other. So, it's we have a nice, wholesome story, and I like
it's quite unusual for our stream.
It is. I'm like, wow. How did this?
You're not wrong, Rod.
Yeah. How did this get here? Anyway.
To be fair, this is going to be a story about a haunted wedding dress.
Okay. Fair enough. So, what do you think, John?
There's a cuteness to the characters. It's interesting. I think the characters have some interesting dynamics. The subtext, about the dude having a drunk father. I thought or drunk uncle, whatever, one of them. Thought that was kind of interesting. I caught that. So, yeah. Got some interesting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Any constructives from Preston?
It's fine. If this were the whole story, I think you could still say it's entertaining because two people meeting and the interplay thereof is always somewhat entertaining, unless you're just completely jaded. So no, I think I don't know. I think it's fine. There doesn't have to be a sinister plot and a giant robot. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly not a sinister plot type story.
Right.
Did the characters have enough red flags in their relationship?
I mean, okay.
Like, do we have a sense this is likely to go horribly, horribly wrong?
Okay. So if you're asking, did I see foreshadowing? I mean, I guess I didn't. I guess I'm sitting here going, "Oh, these two are gonna be great."
I didn't see any foreshadowing either.
Yeah, I didn't see any foreshadowing.
I didn't even know this was a horror story until you told us it was.
Right.
I mean,
this is also scene 1, basically.
Yeah.
So, okay. I will have to meditate on how to jam some more red flags in there, so it gets a little bit more obvious. But I feel like this is a good start.
Yeah.
My goal with this is to basically write Act 1 as an entire romantic comedy and then turn it into a horror movie.
Okay. Just like from dusk till dawn.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
But with no toe sucking.
No toe sucking.
Doesn't have to be an absolute limit.
Well, hey, that could be not sex stuff.
That could be.
I mean, it's just toe sucking.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure toe sucking counts as sex stuff.
I mean, yes.
Like,
yes, it does.
Well, according to the Mormons, if you just lay on top of the other person while somebody shakes the bed, as long as you're not doing the movement, then it's not sex stuff.
I don't.
I like it, but I look. In some ways, they're really just giving
it's really
a job to a third person, which is awfully nice. Let's see. All right, so we have some harpies tonight.
Yes, so this is my page 1 rewrite of issue 2.
Okay. So what was it you sought to change?
Everything.
Everything. Okay. All right.
So yeah, I took some ideas from the last time we had these pages and decided to go in a new direction.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's actually going to be quite a few different characters. Preston, why don't you do Aaron? Danny, why don't you narrate? And I'll do everybody else for now. We'll see.
Okay. Exterior, Pyramids of Giza, day. 2 Egyptian soldiers stand guard at the base of the pyramid when Aaron, driving a Jeep, and Longfu park in the front.
Hell yeah.
Behind the soldiers, stone steps lead upward towards the entrance of one of the Great Pyramids. Aaron and Longfu exit the Jeep.
I'm here. I guess I'm Aaron. I'm here to see Dr. Bones.
That's a temporary name. I'll probably change it later. Danny, when he shows up, why don't you do our good doctor?
Copy that.
Up the stairs. Once you enter, follow the descending passageway to the left to the subterranean chamber.
Oh, snap. Thank you, soldier.
Aaron and Longfu climb the long, winding stone steps several feet up the slope before coming to the entrance. Interior pyramid entryway. Day. Shadows creep in as Aaron and Longfu move further from the entry.
This is kind of spooky. I wonder if we'll meet any ghosts.
Ghosts and spirits aren't real.
Well, dragons are real. So who knows?
Whatever you think you saw was merely a figment of your imagination brought on by the stress of a near-death experience influenced by your cultural heritage, man.
But it gave me superpowers.
About 12 feet inside, the passageway splits into 2 corridors with openings a little over 5 feet square. The one on the right ascends steeply upward into the darkness, but air can be felt coming down. That's drawable. The one on the left descends steeply down into darkness.
Careful. Let me get my torch.
Last one down's a rotten egg.
Longfu leaps into the corridor, sliding down the bumpy slope.
This is awesome.
Erin rolls her eyes as Longfu's voice fades off.
Rash, I hate you.
Erin turns on her flashlight and carefully begins her descent down the narrow corridor. Interior, subterranean chamber, day. This small empty chamber is lit with torches. Dr. Bones holds a portable Geiger counter, scanning the stone walls. Tick, tick, tick. Suddenly, Longfu's cries of glee echo through the room.
Wee!
He turns towards the corridor entrance as Longfu spills out onto the ground, rolling over several times until her momentum comes to a stop. Sitting up, she breathes heavy, brushing the dirt from her pixie haircut.
That was fun.
Hello, miss. Who are you?
I'm Longfu.
Longfu stands up, brushing the dirt from her dress. Twisting around, she pulls up her skirt, examining her reddened buttocks and thighs.
I'm sure she does.
Fucking hell,
That
John.
would explain the stinging sensation.
Erin enters the chamber.
Dr. Bones, I'm Lieutenant Aaron Rice. Colonel Smith sent me.
Dr. Bones recognizes her by name. Lieutenant Rice, yes, you're MI6's resident Hecate Stone expert.
If anyone can be an expert in a stone of unknown origin that defies all laws of physics.
Remember, ghosts and spirits aren't real.
And who is this?
She's my bodyguard.
Longfu strokes her chin, looking around the large empty chamber.
This looks pretty safe. I'm going down the slide again.
I'm not.
Before she can finish, Longfu darts back up the corridor.
I'm very sorry about this. You called us in for.
Dr. Bones turns his Geiger counter back on. Tick, tick, tick. There is nothing here but dirt and sand. It shouldn't be radioactive. I believe there should be a hidden chamber, and I was hoping to have it open by the time you got here. Erin takes the Geiger counter and walks towards the wall. She gets closer, it ticks more rapidly.
What's behind this wall?
I don't know. We believe there must be a hidden passageway behind one of these walls. Erin starts pressing on some of the stones. She finds one that is a bit loose, but when she shakes it, the stones around it crack, sending dust spilling down the wall.
Right, so this is definitely not the one.
The Geiger counter ticks slower as Erin walks away from the wall. She scans the ground. Kneeling down, she presses against the stones.
Dr. Bones, give me a hand with this.
He kneels down beside her. What did you find?
A loose stone that doesn't look like it'll collapse the chamber if we pull it out.
Together, they pull on the stone, sliding it up and out. As soon as they do a whiff of stale air.
Oh my God, that stinks.
Something's dead down there.
This is a tomb, isn't it?
Actually, that's a misconception of the nature of the pyramids.
Wee!
Ignore her. That's what I do.
Erin leans over, looking into the hole now. Erin leans over, looking into the hole now in the floor. She reaches her arm inside, feeling around inside.
There's definitely an opening under there. I think I feel a latch.
Longfu falls out of the corridor, rolling across the ground.
You have got to try that.
Would you get over here and lift this?
Longfu stands up, brushing herself off.
What did you find?
It's the hole. There's a latch. Pull that, then open the door.
Together, we can...
Just step back, Doctor.
Erin and Dr. Bones step away from the hole as Longfu bends down and reaches inside.
You feel it?
Yep.
Click. Bang. Longfu lifts upward as massive floor panel moves with it. Dr. Bones steps forward to assist, but Aaron holds him back.
Leave her be. She's got this.
Once clear, Longfu grips the panel from underneath, and with a heave and grunt, she lifts the entire floor panel open.
She don't need no man.
That's some Hulk shit right there.
That's some Hulk shit. She's a lot stronger than she looks.
Don't forget to tell him that magic dragons aren't real.
Dude, would you give up on the fucking magic dragons, you dumb bitch? Jesus Christ.
Centuries
Shut
have
this dumb
passed,
bitch
the
up.
chamber,
Oh
causing Aaron, Longfu, and Dr. Bones to cough.
Okay.
As the dust slowly settles again, a set of stone steps are revealed to lead further below the pyramid.
It's fucking Scrappy Doo.
Longfu stands, holding floor open with two hands outstretched.
Looks like there's a whole other pyramid down there.
Show up here so we don't get trapped. Doctor, grab your torch. Or stay up. Yeah.
Interior, mysterious chamber, day. A fine copper dust lays across the metal floors, all of the floors of this mysterious underground room. It layers heavier at the entrance, thinning out further. Aaron and Dr. Bones walk into the room.
Hell yeah.
Thinning out the further, Aaron and Dr. Bones walk into the room. Okay, that's better.
What is this place?
That putrid smell is increasing. As they move towards the center of the room grows darker. A silhouette of a tall humanoid figure sits upon the chair.
Hell yeah.
Aaron's flashlight glimmers off the back of the metal chair, the shadows cast on the back of the figure's bald head.
Oh yeah. Hello?
Aaron circles the chair. Her jaw drops as her eyes go wide.
Dr. Bones?
The doctor approaches her, equally surprised by the find. My God. Seated upon the chair, the decaying skeletal remains of a large-eyed alien sits on the chair.
Shit.
Well, I mean, John did say humanoid. So it was either that or it was a fish man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
His hands wrapped around joystick controls mounted on the ends of the chair's armrests.
Doctor, have you?
I've been an archaeologist for over 40 years, and I've never seen anything like this. Aaron looks down at the ticking Geiger counter in her hand. She turns to the large console in front of her full of dark screens. She is full of dark screens.
She is.
Kneeling down, Aaron finds a loose panel. Removing it, a green glow shines from behind the massive panel.
I think I found it.
Dr. Bones kneels down beside her.
It's behind this panel.
It's a small opening.
I think I can squeeze through.
She hands her flashlight to Dr. Bones and starts climbing through the panel opening. Exterior, Pyramids of Giza day. A shadow passes over the two Egyptian soldiers standing guarding. Looking up, a massive Nazi airship passes overhead. They raise their files, opening fire.
They what?
They raise their files. You fucking got it.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what
Files.
that means, but all right. Anyway.
I don't know what that means either. That's John's problem. Maybe you spend less time repeating the locations of things.
Yeah.
More time actually using real words that make sense in context.
There we go. Subterranean chamber.
Subterranean chamber. Still holding the door, Longfu turns to the sound of gunfire echoing down the corridor. Nazi airship. Orion leaps off the balcony with nothing but a cord tying her back. Okay. She fires two arrows simultaneously. Each one hits one of the soldiers. The line goes taut, stretches, lowers Orion to a safe height, allowing her to disconnect and drop to the ground.
Yeah.
Liebstandarte Mac leaps off the balcony, landing beside Orion with a deafening thump.
Oh, yeah.
Subterranean chamber. Orion enters the chamber, finding it empty. The floor panel closed. Light from the missing stone shining from the opening. Is this a Mulby script? Did Mulby write this? Sounds like Mulby wrote this.
Well,
The
there's
mech-
not a lot of
Is
passes.
this the good Mulby or the bad Mulby?
Well, I mean, someone spell checked the Mulby.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. But anyways, the mech enters behind her, panning upward, which is totally a thing a comic panel can do.
Yeah.
Longfu saddles the stone wall just above their heads. Where did she get a saddle, John? Is she going to go ride the stone wall
Yeah.
off into the sunset while shooting off her revolvers? Is this fucking Western now? What is happening? Sorry. The mech pilot holds up the Geiger counter. Tick, tick, tick. He points.
Darn it. Preston, why don't you do Orion?
Well, open it.
Silently, Long Fu drops to the ground. She walks up to Orion, tapping her on the shoulder.
Excuse me, did you purchase a ticket for this pyramid excursion?
Orion back kicks Long Fu, sending her flying back, hitting the wall.
Oof, that almost hurt.
Orion fires an arrow. Long Fu ducks as it gets lodged in the stone wall.
Get down there and find the stone. Kill anyone in your way.
The mech pilot rips the floor panel from its place, shoving it to the side. Interior, mysterious chamber. Behind the panels. Erin pulls her head and torso behind the panel.
Hell yeah,
Looking
she
up,
does.
she can see a small glowing green stone in a crystal cylinder. The cylinder appears to be partially dislodged from a copper tube.
Damn right it does. All right. Dr. Bones, I found it. It looks like it's got loose somehow.
Spaceship bridge. Erin's butt wiggles side to side
Oh,
as she
shit.
maneuvers half inside the
does.
panel and half out.
I think the stone could be used to power whatever this building is if I can get it back to what we can see what it's used for. I don't know why we got a butt shot on that, but all right.
It's a John Lamont script.
Exactly. This exposition is too boring. I'm not going to pretend like the words are coming out of her
What an
ass.
exposition. Subterranean chamber. Long Fu delivers a power spinning kick to Orion, who blocks it with her arm to Long Fu's surprise.
How?
You are a false god, and I shall put you in your place.
Orion draws an arrow, lunging at Long Fu with it.
Hell yeah.
Long Fu backflips around of range.
Go to Long Fu.
Okay, so Orion fires the arrow with her bow.
You can do it.
Long Fu backflips again, allowing the arrow to pass overhead.
You can do
Orion
it.
fires another arrow. As Long Fu returns to her feet, she notices a flash red light on the arrowhead in sync with a beep beep beep.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Oh,
crap.
crap.
Yeah.
Boom. The arrowhead explodes within inches of Long Fu, sending her flying back against the wall, charring her skin and clothes.
Oh,
Okay, that's
Scrappy,
intense.
no.
Spaceship bridge. An echoing clang of metal on metal draws Dr. Bones' attention. Draws Dr. Bones' attention away from Aaron, turning the mech walks into the spaceship bridge. Isn't the spaceship bridge below the floor, John?
Yes. It was the mysterious room. I'm now defining it as a spaceship bridge because we know what it is now.
The mech walks forward and does not climb or jump or
He already went
float
down the
or
steps.
use thrusters. Okay. Lieutenant Aaron, we have a problem. The mech raises his arm, spinning up the Gatling gun. Dr. Bones sweats, facing certain doom. Subterranean chamber. Orion grabs Long Fu by the hair, pulling up and slamming her head back down into the stone floor. She kicks Long Fu over, straddling her and pressing her bow with both hands into Long Fu's neck, choking her.
That's her bow.
Oh.
There
That
we
is the
go.
appropriate spelling of bow. I was wrong.
That is. All right. So we have action. We still got Nazi zeppelins,
Of
and
course.
yeah. So
That's what we're here for, right?
yeah. So there was some radioactivity. We were exploring some ancient ruins, with an annoying sidekick, and the stuff was done. Things were unlocked. Secret chambers were revealed, and a fight happened. That's what I remember. There we go. All right, that's what I got. What do you think?
I mean, this is definitely the best Scooby-Doo script I've read in a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely got some Indiana Jones vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I think the alien was introduced quite successfully, because that is the aliens having built the pyramids is a common thing that racists believe.
That racists believe?
Well, yes.
Okay.
So you're saying I'm a racist?
No, I'm not.
It's a new month. It's a new racism.
But it is definitely a thing that
it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know anything. I don't know how
the
it's
conspiracy
related to
being
race.
that brown people were not sophisticated enough to put a bunch of rocks on top of each other.
I mean,
yeah.
I think there's a
Also,
fair amount
it
of
was started
intrigue
by
Marvel
Nazis.
to that, but
well, maybe they put it on top of. Maybe they were trying to hide the spaceship, and that's why
I'm
they built
totally
the
behind hiding the spaceship. It seems like it might be dangerous technology. It is indeed radioactive. Maybe they were just protecting people from, mutating from hanging out near the spaceship. Or
yes,
indeed, maybe all Egyptians are secretly mutants, and this is actually an X-Men story.
could be.
Could be.
Could be. So lots of potential here, and certainly going to lead to some exciting action. Also, there was an annoying sidekick.
Yes. Let's see. Could it be improved? I'm not. Aaron's ass seems to come out of nowhere. I don't mind. I don't mind more nudity than the script calls for, but I don't like. Sometimes I feel like you're writing the script like. I remember 20 years ago they were trying a show where women read the news naked, and sometimes I feel like you worry like the audience isn't going to care about this part, so here's just a lady part, like in the panel. I don't know. I mean, stuff happened. It's going interesting places. We have aliens and Nazis. I mean, shit. This is everything that you would ask from Pulp, right? So,
From who?
and Pulp, like this is Pulp.
Right? Oh, okay.
Don't you think? I mean,
I thought you said Pope.
No.
Like, what's the Pope got to do with it?
No. Like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's
yeah.
That's.
I think the Pope would be unimpressed by the pagan graveyard they're all going into.
Yes. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't. I got a question why we need Scrappy Doo. I guess I don't know what is Long Fu adding to any of this. I mean, if we're going for a comedy, I would like it to be funnier. If we're going for an adventure, I'm not very scared. I don't know. Go ahead, Danny.
So I can think of a few ways to improve this, but by and large, my criticism aligns very strongly with Preston's. What does Dr. Bones have to do there? Why are the guards out there? Can't the Nazis just show up after some actual character development? That way, Long Fu can do something. Why is the mech not even scary until it's off on its own? It doesn't even kill a basic bitch guard of a pyramid. Where is the exciting exploration scene where people are scared of the dark and going through cobwebs and like, oh, there's a spider up my butt. There's no spiders in the desert. Then what's up my butt? Like, none of that.
So you want a spider up someone's butt? I can do that.
Of course.
There should be something like this is the beginning of a book. Introduce your characters. They just show up and be badass.
This is issue 2.
Okay. This is still the beginning of a book. Introduce your characters. They show up. They are badass. Other people walk them to everything and tell them where to go. They don't explore, make any decisions on their own. They don't react to stuff really. Like even Aaron kind of already said, "Oh, it's whatever. I was figuring this would be an alien spacecraft. Let's go." Like no one's surprised by the alien spacecraft. Or fleeing for their lives, and like the Nazis clearly aren't a threat, except we're just punching each other from the beginning. No one even talks. Like in Indiana Jones 1, he is severely outgunned constantly and has to actually talk to the horrifying antagonists regularly. And that's part of what made them establish that they were evil and made them more threatening. Like he couldn't punch his way out of everything. And so I'm like, we've just got like, yeah, like Long Fu doesn't even really need to be there. The doctor doesn't need to be there. The guards don't need to be there. Realistically, the Nazis can just show up in the middle of a conversation about what the hell the alien's doing there. And just be like, I see you have found the alien before us, but you will die here and be left in this tomb and we will take it with us. Like, that's what I was expecting. That it was that sort of thing. So the Nazis just sort of airdropped in and you already reveal the Zeppelin before like it can scare our protagonists. So yeah, I feel like take the opportunity to do some character building and some tomb raiding and make the tomb raiding feel like tomb raiding is going to actually just sort of lift up this entire scene out of like, okay, it's a bunch of stone walls in the dark.
So there you go. All right, Palace issue 5.
Palace issue 5.
Clearly, I did too much research into what an actual pyramid looks like on the inside. Because they are boring AF.
They are boring. So yeah, like have it be dark, have the flashlight break, have them like fumble around, have someone slip down a secret corridor.
I mean,
or whatever, like, you know, show the characters in trouble instead of screaming "we" and like, and who uses stairs like a slide anyways? It's weird.
They're not actually stairs. They literally are a slope. It is the craziest thing.
Well, that's super cool.
The pyramid designed of the tunneling system are much more slope-like.
But it's 4,000 years ago.
So
yeah, humans have added stairs to them like since like in the last 50 years. You can kind of tell that they weren't there like 100 plus years ago.
At least start with making it 120 feet into the pyramid, not 12, so they're out of sunlight. You know, like get into the atmosphere of the thing, or else it's just like an establishing shot.
Yeah.
Because 12 is not a lot of feet, like, and it's the middle of the day when they start. So,
yeah, I mean, it was about 12 feet in. Like,
I totally believe that you're being very accurate to your research.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Not work dramatically.
Yeah, I got you. That's what I said. I did too much research into what the pyramids look like on the inside. So maybe I should just, rewatch Indiana Jones.
I mean, sure.
It'll never hurt. It's a really good movie.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I saw it kind of recently. It's pretty good.
We're talking about the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any others?
Sure.
There's a good one with the chalice.
Yeah, the Last
and
Crusade.
the Gonzo one with
Yeah.
Kali Ma. And
There
that's
you
the
go.
entire
Temple of
trilogy.
Doom. Yeah.
That's all the movies in the trilogy.
And then there's Indiana Jones and the Cash Cow.
There are only 3 movies in that trilogy.
All right. Who wants to narrate?
Who do you want to narrate?
Danny, you can narrate.
Copy that. So nothing has changed, but it's also been 3 weeks since we've read this.
Yes.
Where are we in the story?
The ending. There's a fight between Thora has already been reanimated, and there's a fight against the Silver Hydras in progress.
Okay. Page 22. Panel 1. Samantha's dispel strikes a shocked Helena, who begins to fall out of the sky as her levitation spell fails.
Ah!
Panel 2. Helena falls right in front of burning undead Thora. Long sword in hand, Madridorf advances to interpose.
Madridorf, save me! Can't you turn her?
She has
Gone.
more hit dice than a common zombie. Best to hack her to pieces.
I like that line. Panel 3. Burned guts fly from burning undead Thora as Madridorf's sword slices deep into her advancing form.
Rah!
Page 23. Panel 1. Thora's hand closes over Madridorf, locking his sword deep inside her guts. I feel like we missed an action there.
What? How so? Like the
Was
sword
he
goes in.
slashing before, or was it a stabbing? Slices.
I mean,
burned guts flying out indicates slashing to me.
Yeah. So slashing, but it still came to rest inside.
We may want to mention this in the art note.
Okay, sure. All right.
Another panel, he runs her through, but obviously doesn't do anything because she's actually a zombie.
Yeah.
Right. Because we need to actually draw that action.
Well, I mean, I can't just have sword, guts flying as sword embeds here.
Does not usually have stat. I mean, how many times have you cut a chicken and had guts come out for no reason? Or if you're slicing something, guts aren't coming out. The guts are coming out because you sliced open the belly meats.
Fair enough.
There's nothing holding the guts in, right?
Yeah.
Thora's hand closed over Madridorf, locking his sword deep inside her guts.
Violence provides you no escape.
Panel 2. Burning undead Thora comes face to face with Madridorf.
From oblivion.
Panel 3. Burning undead Thora exhales a jet of flame through her pursed lips. She mimics the intimacy of a kiss. She consumes his head in hellfire.
Ah.
Panel 4. Foreground. His head charged. Madridorf falls to his knees. Background. Burning undead Thora stands behind him.
This is so unfair.
Panel 5. Madridorf's head shatters into pieces as Thora brings her powerful hands together to smash it. Boom. Page 24. Helena magically teleports to stand beside a surprised Queen Arica. Bamf.
What? Oh wait, no, I'm Helena. John.
What?
Plan B, parlay.
Panel 2. Dunan and Sir Edmund cautiously uncross their swords as they stand away from each other to seek a peaceful resolution.
We have your queen. Stand down.
Panel 3. Edmund and Dunan warily eye the blood-splattered form of burning undead Thora, who approaches with menace.
Stand down, I say.
Or what? You might kill she who oversaw my rape and torture at the hands of her lover, the sadist who would watch and laugh as I burned to death slowly.
Panel 4. Burning undead Thora climbs the stairs towards the royal box as Helena and Thora stand away from Arica.
Samantha, protect me.
Ironic that you would look to her for protection.
Page 25. Panel 1. Arica looks to Samantha in shock at Thora's accusation.
For she planned to use my undead form to kill you.
Panel 2. Burning undead Thora approaches a terrified Arica who attempts to hide behind a placid Samantha.
Unfortunately for Samantha, when my soul appeared before Ereshkigal, she decided to return me to this realm as her prophet rather than as Samantha's thrall.
Panel 3. A confused Arica looks as Samantha looks at Samantha as
there we
burning
go.
undead Thora disappoints her.
Yeah. I have nothing but hatred for Arica, but my goddess forbade me from killing her. Her exact words were...
That's not what you wrote.
I had nothing but hatred for Arica, but my goddess forbade me from killing her. Her exact words were... oh, yeah, right. I need more. Yeah, words, yeah. And I missed words. Ironically, I missed words. Anyway.
Words. What are words, anyways?
Yeah.
Panel 4.
Words just mean whatever the hell people want them to mean.
Dora's thought bubble recalls her encounter with Ereshkigal. I can conceive of no monarch more befitting a group of vain, decadent, and deceitful harpies. Page 26. Panel 1. Open hands raised and smiling timidly, Helena attempts to extricate her team from this awkward drama. Undead Thora, Samantha, and Arica remain intently focused on each other.
Look, we can see that you folks have some things to work out. So how about we leave in peace to do just that? Do you think there's something we can all agree upon?
Panel 2. Arica and Samantha resumed their royal countenance.
By all means.
Panel 3. Burning undead Thora stands Helena.
Yeah, exactly. She sure does. All right. I will.
I don't think we could have an object of that verb, but okay.
We could.
I thought it was transitive.
Yeah. I will escort you out of town. I have no future here. I will return to Abracia and set upon returning glory to the temple of my goddess. You're just going to leave after such cruel treatment at their hands?
Page 27, panel 1. Is she still burning?
I mean,
is she going to burn less over time? Is she just going to burn forever?
I'm thinking of what if she were like
Ghost Rider shit?
Yeah, like Ghost Rider shit.
I mean, okay, but how are you supposed to build a temple when everything, like, you try and like set up some foundations, like put up the roof and the roof catches fire? It's a giant fucking hassle.
All right.
I mean, I don't know how you want to do that. Maybe have, like,
I was thinking if she could be Ghost Rider. I don't know.
But... figure it out. I'm just mentioning, like, I don't know if this is going to be like an ongoing fire thing.
I'm looking for all kinds of feedback on what we turn Thor into here.
Fair enough. Burning Undead Thora stands by Helena and points to Edmund, Samantha, and Arica, who stand together as an unhappy group in the royal box.
I could kill any one of them, and what would it change? They worship Viviax, a sex demon, another who will spring forth to fill their role.
Panel 2, series of panels. Bust shot of Arica, who, unused to criticism, seems on the verge of tears.
Who better to personify a succubus than a vain slut? She did not earn her position of power. Rather, she charmed this region's Drulian governor before betraying him. Nothing fair or noble could ever come from such a woman.
Panel 3, bust shot of Edmund, who stands in defiance.
Of Thor's words.
Yeah. Of Thor's words, which are off panel.
Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, what's wrong with that?
They're totally fine. They're off panel.
And who would she seek out but a cruel enforcer to carry out her petty tyrannies, surrendering her body and will to him as she has done so many times before, but ever ready to betray him should the impulse strike her?
Panel 4, bust shot of Samantha's contemptuous countenance.
The only real solution to a corrupt monarchy would be to establish a theocracy. But what virtue would the high priestess of Viviax, hell's most profane whore, bestow upon the women of Alluvia? Trapped like I was in a system of corrupt beliefs, Samantha remains powerless to do anything but create pathetic conspiracies that would change little if implemented.
Page 28. Turning her back on the Alluvian court. Undead Thora, no longer burning, you will note, Preston.
All right, fine.
Motions to Helena to leave.
Alluvia's demise and fall provides amusement to my goddess. Her will be done. Sorceress, as nothing holds either of us here, let us go.
Panel 2. Descending the stairs to the ground, Gretchen stands before Helena and burning undead Thora, seeking their attention.
I am coming too.
No, I could not ask for a more faithful squire, but I am not returning to the solitude of the to the solitude of the abandoned city of Abrasia. The dead have no need of food, unlike you. Perhaps you could join us. Do you have any useful skills? Or do you have any skills useful to an adventuring group?
So Preston, quick note for you to double check for yourself.
Yeah.
Is when was the last time Gretchen showed up before that?
Well, I mean, she was in the battle.
But she hasn't done any of the last, 7 pages of art.
All right, sure.
Panel 3, large panel, Gretchen passionately argues her merits. I'll do this one, because you've been talking a lot, Preston.
Oh, okay.
Trained from birth to be an Alluvian governess, I can sneak, wield a sword, and have a bonus to diplomatic skills in situations involving men. That is funny. My spiritual pact to the Reshigal allows me to channel her power. My backstory requires I seek to avenge women when and wherever they are wrong. That's a little bit on the nose, but it's cute. Page 29. Now flaming undead Thora watches with pride as Gretchen joins the Silver Hydras, who rejoice at being a 4-person party once more.
I say we trust this mysterious demon-worshipping stranger with our lives from this point forward and give her a fair share of the treasure.
Of course.
Does she mind random violence against strangers for experience and money?
Not at all.
Welcome aboard. We have a Johnny. Excellent.
There we go.
Panel 2. Standing on the grounds of the tilt yard, a mystified Edmund stands by Samantha and Arica as they observe the Silver Hydras and flaming undead Thora walk along the road out of town.
Always seems to happen when they lose a member.
Panel 3. Edmund draws a sword against Samantha as Arica looks on.
High Priestess Samantha, you stand accused of conspiring to end the life of our queen. Shall I place her under arrest, your highness?
What? Based on the word of a woman executed for treason who just walked out of town? And how long do you think the queendom will last without my magic to aid it? The entire Governess Legion depends on my charms, besides.
Page 30. Panel 1. Deciding she's had enough Edmund, Samantha readies her magic.
It's about time for Erica's attack dog to learn about how to speak to a woman of power. Impendium!
Panel 2. Foreground. Edmund and Arica stand completely frozen, unable to move as Samantha's magic takes hold. Background. Samantha calls for backup.
Governess Akasha and Sarah, I arrest these two while my magic has frozen them. Arica allowed a man to dominate her will and her body. He thereby tortured and raped another woman. Such conduct must be addressed in an open session of the court of the matriarchy.
Panel 3. Kasha and Sarah, in enlarged form, look to restrain the frozen forms of Arica and Edmund.
Arica may need to be deposed. Possibly Alluvia might be better off as a theocracy after all, a topic I will allow the royal women of Alluvia to discuss.
Yes, High Priestess. I placed them in the dungeon.
Yeah, it should be shall, yeah.
Panel 4. Samantha addresses enlarged governess Akasha, who holds Edmund's frozen form, whose face shows dread. He's frozen.
You want him to have like a confident look as he's being carted off.
I mean, he's frozen. He's going to be blue anyways, and fade out.
I don't think he's frozen as in ice cold frozen. I think he's.
Well, yeah, it's obviously a whole person spell.
Yeah, the whole person spell. Yeah.
I know Latin.
No, let them await their trial in the pillory. I'm sure some of the subjects of the queendom might have some personal scores to settle.
We got a yes, High Priest. There we go.
Page 31. Panel 1. Seated atop the altar in the ancient temple of Reshkigal, Thora clasps the hilt of her downward pointing sword with both hands.
Yeah, going
And
all
so,
Conan on us, aren't
provided
you?
an exciting chapter of amusement for her goddess Ereshkigal, Thora sits in her temple in the lost city of Abresha. There, she waits and observes the world, seeking another great challenge worthy of her goddess's attention.
All right, so
I like the Conan ending.
So we've got a bit more of a serious ending this time with some speechifying and some political maneuvering. We've got a little bit of murder. Thora catches fire, stops being on fire, catches fire again. Gretchen joins the adventuring party, and Thora is Conan.
Yes. Ghost Rider Conan.
Yeah. So I quite liked that we went for political maneuvering. Certainly, there were some surprising turns in there. I did like that the adventuring party was an appropriately PC-like adventuring party. And you totally stuck the landing on the Thora thing.
Oh,
John?
thanks. You with us, John?
Oh yeah. What Danny said. I like the Conan thing. That was really cool. I'm sure knowing your artist, that's going to make a great splash page. Yeah, the political maneuvering was interesting. Yeah, yeah, I think overall it was a very satisfying ending to the characters' stories.
Awesome.
All right. Constructives.
Yes.
Thora doesn't get revenge on anybody.
She doesn't.
And then none of the backstabbing assholes literally stab anyone in the back, which was slightly disappointing.
Okay.
I would have preferred, Edmund especially is really disposable in this society.
Yeah, I don't know if he's disposable in the story. I feel like if I ever had to do a sequel,
story,
yeah,
Samantha just hold personing them and being like, you know what, let's try a theocracy anyways. I'll bring it in front of the magistrates,
right,
and let the people decide, and then just kills Arica could also work fine. I also don't see the need for Thora and the adventuring party to leave town in the same direction. Although that wasn't uncute, she would be like, "Yeah, I'm going west this way, so just don't follow me. We're good." And then Gretchen would be like,
okay.
"Adventuring party, take me along," because otherwise it's weird that they're hanging out together.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, yeah.
Thora just needs to peace.
Yeah.
This might take an extra page, but actually that's okay because you want that Conan scene to be on a page turn anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of works. Some of the dialogue was a little bit lengthy for Thora accusing everyone and calling people out, but the content was actually fine. It was just a little bit long-winded.
Yeah.
Especially the bit on Samantha, which got 2 paragraphs and everyone else got 1.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would try and render that with a bit more parallelism and have all those dialogue spaces be balanced.
All right.
That's going to help the art out a lot. And that was really it. This seems to be very much aligned with the kind of ending you were going for. Unless you're unsatisfied with stuff.
No,
totally
I think it's fine.
Me.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like we're getting close to now how do we stick the landing better as compared to are we sticking the landing, which is a good kind of question to have to ask.
Okay.
John.
I don't know. I didn't really have much. I do kind of agree with the, Thora not actually killing or getting her revenge on anybody. But I guess, I don't know. I don't feel like that this ending doesn't work, but I don't know if that doesn't mean it can't be better.
I mean, the
But I do
alternative.
feel like
What if? Let's just the thought experiment. What if Thor killed everybody? What if Thor was like Samantha, Edvin, Arka, just chop, chop, chop?
What if she burnt the palace of Viviax to the ground?
Yeah, like she
She
could.
didn't
I
have to
mean,
kill somebody. She'd be like, "Fuck Viviax and your bullshit." Bye.
she could do that. I
You guys
mean,
build your own society.
yeah.
Like, you know,
Is that better or worse? If Thor settles more scores before leaving town, is that a better result?
Counterpoint. If
Yeah.
Thora settles no scores between leaving town, is that a better result?
Right.
Because that's what we currently have.
Yes.
There is a middle ground between no scores and all the scores.
Right.
So that might be a place too.
Our decision, the decision's in your hands, John. What do you got? What do you think?
Well, if she were to kill everybody,
yes.
Then how would you resolve the Alluvius situation?
Well, that's kind of the problem with all revolutions, particularly where it's the oppressed against the oppressors, is after you destroy the system, a lot of times you go, well, wait a minute, how is food going to get to the stores?
Well, I mean, she could do that, and then they could be like, they could ask that question, then she could be like, well, that's your problem, bitches.
It could be like, not my problem. See ya.
Guys, idea.
All right.
If you're seriously taking a revolutionary angle here, just have a commoner kill Arika while she's hold person.
Okay.
And just be like, down with the monarchy. Hooray for the whatever theocracy of whatever. And then Samantha's just sort of stuck with this, and possibly also Edmund.
Okay.
And then you can kill Arika and let the people who live here under this tyrannical regime resolve their own problems instead of having it be a top-down solution 100%.
Okay. We could.
Yeah. That's a good use of a whole person spell as a sneak attack.
Yeah.
And just random killing her for like oppressing them is totally on brand.
Isn't that kind of what you do with the whole pillory thing? Like that's kind of implied.
Yeah, but now we do it on screen instead of just having us say that we're going to do it.
I guess, but the only thing I guess my issue just is that I feel
also,
like
where did the people go who were watching the witch get burned? Like there are people in this scene.
Yes, there are.
So giving them something to do isn't the worst. The mob.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you there, John.
No, usually when random character comes out of nowhere and then does something major, that just seems kind of like out of nowhere. Like, who is this person? And yes, that happens in the real world, but it doesn't happen in stories.
What is the random person in question?
The one that's going to be doing the stabby on Erica.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it just seems kind of like random.
Yeah,
now, that wouldn't happen in real life, but in stories, that's kind of random.
I would worry about endorsing mob violence. I worry about this stuff.
I will say that, like, because you're in a political situation, where there is theoretically some tension between the head of the state and the head of the church, and you've also got, a member of the underclass who has been loudly accused in public of doing things that are politically unsavory in this society, right? Yeah. Having a mob attack the people and setting up the theocracy honestly seems slightly fitting. And if you take away the line about Thora saying that might happen, then Samantha is just stuck with this, which is kind of a punishment.
Yeah.
He clearly wants the power behind the throne, and now she is stuck with this throne. That is reasonably fitting. And you do get to have like a scene of like, she goes hold person, hey guards, let's do whatever. And then the mob shows up, is like, hey guards, take me back to the temple.
Yeah.
And then you can still have the people like be like, oh well, screw Arika and her terrible laws, and like this man was evil. Like if the people still want a female dominated society, which may or may not be the case here,
right?
Having them say we still want this, just not this particular female,
right? Well, and they're in.
He's on brand for the city, and the people are still kind of lawful evil.
Yes, and we would have to come down to like who was being asked. If we were asking the men of this society, they would probably say, you know what, maybe not so much. But if we're asking,
have a bunch of women go, like, women from the mob, like, you'd be like, I'm sick of this shit. Edmund's an asshole. Kill Erica. You don't need to like show them dying. Just show them being like run over, and like Samantha just escaping with her guards. The heroes and Thora are basically being like, okay, well, we blew up the situation, but there's some opportunity here, and we're not going to kill you. Bye. It doesn't mean there's not a very tense political situation that could go either way. So Samantha, even if it's not, fixes things so that Erica gets killed anyways, is leaving that in. You totally heard. And you have a whole page at the end of where you talk about that while Thora's sitting on her throne. If you need to, like, use your narrator there, that's a good place to use your narrator.
Yeah. Okay.
But do we want Samantha to maintain her position at the end of it? Or do we want, they don't all have to die for them to all lose.
If none of them are around, the matriarchy perishes, right?
Not necessarily. Yeah. Somebody else would come along and be like, doesn't Samantha have like a priestess in waiting that can,
I suppose.
Has that character been introduced at all? Because she could backstabby Samantha and be like,
no, we haven't done that. But Samantha's not been that evil to our protagonists, whereas the other two kind of have.
Yes.
Okay.
And remember, we also need to kill them. The mob can just be like, get them, put them in the pillories. Down with this queen. Like, the mob can do that, so Samantha doesn't have to.
Well, I guess my question was, do we want them all to lose? Or that was more my thinking.
Preston?
But
I wasn't sure how to answer the question. Who is we that wants who would happen? John, John, what do you want? What do you want to happen? If you were reading this, what would you be like? Oh, so good. Exactly. Yeah, so,
Yeah, because there's no side characters in the court that have been introduced.
We have Cucky the Jester.
Samantha should totally take him with her back to the temple. So he can
Samantha and Cucky the Jester return.
That would be hilarious. Like, have Samantha bring the guards up and be like, okay, Akasha, you take me to the temple. You go find Cucky. We need him.
Yeah.
Someone got to tell a story about this. So, like, spin it. That's a hundo P legit.
Okay. Go find the king, Cucky.
Yeah, but like I feel like someone should have their comeuppance. Like one of those three, and the two best candidates are Arica and Edmund.
Yeah,
because Samantha really hasn't been that evil, even if she oversaw this this witch trial thing. She gave Zora a chance. Samantha's kind of okay. As far as our sympathies with the protagonist go.
Yes.
But seeing no one get their comeuppance like super directly is kind of weird.
Okay.
Like, not saying, again, it doesn't even need to be ultra violence. Have the mob put them in the pillory.
Sure. All right. Fair enough.
Right? Or like, but you have this perfectly good mob, have them do something is, I guess, sort of. I feel like it ties the scene together because otherwise it's like Star Wars politics where it's like everyone's a goddamn Skywalker hanging out in a private room.
Yeah.
And the billions of normal people have no say in the matter whatsoever.
Okay.
Right? Which we don't want because it just seems
it is kind of strange, yeah. Like all of Star Wars comes down to a family drama. Fine.
Yeah. And it's not even public drama. It's Skywalker is like
yeah, Skywalker family
behind
dispute.
Skywalkers behind closed doors accidentally decide to face the fate of the universe constantly.
Yeah,
It's deeply vexing. So, to avoid that, have the mob do something is really it.
okay, fair enough. All right, I'll give that a polish, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having the series end. I Kickstarter's almost done with the fulfillment. Should have that done by tomorrow, and like a lot of people on issue 3 were like, buying issues, like the back issues for the add-on. So I feel like it's got some new and growing fans, and I'm happy.
It's gonna have even more once you're in Diamond.
That's right. So yeah,
I give you a high five, but you're like one time zone in the lion's share of a continent away.
Exactly. But yeah, that's my next project I'm gonna get started on. But awesome, thanks. I'll get to work, and we can meet next week.
Yep, next week.
Yep.
Sure.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.